Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
Look at something in back check, kind of like cross reference.
Yeah, I should put the.
You say you look that shit up. That's the name of your show.
Yeah,
that's right. What really drew me in.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. And hope I don't get in trouble for playing that last video. I probably shouldn't have played that shit. I'm always testing the damn waters, bro. That shit gonna get me.
You are now tuned in.
Good evening, my little one. I shall make you psychotic.
Mommy, what does psychotic mean?
Back and forth, and you know I'm swinging bows. I'm about to change course, go home and change your clothes. I'm looking at this bitch, it seems like she's saying no. I'ma hit the streets, though I'm supposed to be laying low. I'm following the buzz, never know which way it go. Keep on bringing heat, cause the G.O.D. say it so. Sailing on the beat, so you can't chop and play it so. She got me for a piece, now I'm about to pay the hoe. Stop smoking, switch the sweets, why I gotta take a toke. Now I got a little guac, now I gotta make it grow. Keep on thinking we some hee-haw, ma and pa folks. We gon' hit you in your teeth, we keep a buzz all closed. I've been on it 5 days, so I'm sitting sideways. Now get out of my way, or I'ma hit your Hyundai. Take a lick on my dick if you don't like what I say. I'm the shit with the shit, so we gon' do this my way. And we just getting started, so go on, say your grace. I'ma eat you rappers, though I won't enjoy the taste. I'm closing your estates while you bowling on the stakes. I'm rolling on the bass while you rolling on the face. Sitting on the place, not knowing I'ma take your fast, slowing and it's fake. So I'm gonna wait. Time will come, down will be done. I saw it and I said that it was great.
Mommy, what does psychotic
It's not just talent.
That's what y'all ought to do.
You gotta know what the fuck you doing.
Shawty come and jump in my ride.
That's what y'all ought to do.
When the sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I wanna give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing shine, show me your grind. That's what y'all ought to do.
I will hit any chick who likes sodomy, sex on stilts. While a big top watching me, I eat fish like a culinary apology. I leave you like an open home. Carnegie, just can't quit. Feel like it's a part of me, my wrist on lit. Time to join the party, we check the list quick. Who got the bottle? See a poker face chip. I know she gonna swallow me, bite my lip. While I'm watching people watching me, that's not it. Won't you climb right on top of me? My mind's so sick. It's a function of my bodily. My mind's so sick. It's a function of my bodily. I feel it, you feel it. She say I'm feeling it inside of me. I dig it, you dig it. We digging all over your body. Come get it, I'm with it. I'm gon' get it on the bottom. Come get it, I'm with it. I'm gon' get it on the bottom.
Shawty come and jump in my ride. That's what y'all ought to do. When the sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I wanna give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing sign, show me your grind. That's what y'all ought to do.
I done heard, I done thought, now I wonder and wanna see. Said you really are the king of the jungle, but can it be? Now you really gotta work and be holding the head of me. Cause if you don't know how to stroke, it could cause a catastrophe. I'm a soldier, so I seek and destroy you so naturally. Put some scratches on your back and then ask what the matter be. Demonstrations why the dudes and the women be after me. Leaving weak and desperate, crying to see me on bad knees. They saying where she go. Daylight, flashlight, put me on extra glow. I tried to tell you though, platinum sunshine's about to blow. Shawty come and jump in my ride, that's what you ought to do. The platinum sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I want to give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing shy and show me your grind. That's what you ought to do. Shawty come and jump in my ride, that's what you ought to do. Platinum sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I want to give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing shy and show me your grind. That's what you ought to do.
You want it, so come on, we gonna follow me. We light fires like Hanukkah, marijuana by the tree, like a harmonica. Lick it with no teeth. I like when it's lost and getting salty like a seed. Gotta slide it off and make sure it's softening for me. Reach the top of the mountain and have you sounding out your teeth. It sound like it's coughing and talking, saying more please. I'm sticking and stabbing it. Jason for a heat. Roll it on over and gon' get on the floor, please. Some of you born in October, long as you over 18. Going to prison for pussy, just something that I can't see. Old bitch and she ready and she can munch a dick me. Gon' hop in my Chevy, we bout to hit the scene. Man, the spot is so heavy. Hopping out scene, man, I'm fresh and so ready. Popping like team, man, I'm fresh and so ready. Popping like team.
Shawty come and jump in my ride, that's what you ought to do. The platinum sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I want to give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing shy and show me your grind. That's what you ought to do. Shawty come and jump in my ride, that's what you ought to do. The platinum sun is starting to shine. You feel like calling you? I think I want to give you some time. You better follow through. Stop playing shy and show me your grind. That's what you ought to do.
Deliberating stanzas, creating dancers, evaluate the masters, having meetings, debating the answers to the questions that be making the handler anxious. I can't be telling nothing I ain't experienced, kinda like selling a little fake deliverance, full of malevolence, hitting up your residence, taking care of his biz without leaving evidence. Claiming heaven sent, what the fuck is this? When I take a trip to the abyss and meet the beast, I'm coming back with it. That's gold words coming from a spectacular man that froze when he found out he had a black hole where his soul's supposed to be. That's no way to see eternity. Maybe you believe, but some achieve the pearly gates and still proceed to think evil deeds. Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in the rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in the rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in the rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in the rush to touch the black hole. What? Hit niggas in they fucking head with a crack. You bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gat that spits venom. You sending black and when the bottom of the ninth inning smacky, please. The cat's whack, send him back. Cause he ain't suffered enough, hustled enough, scuffle and cuff his hand to a cop. Nothing discussed, cutting his nuts to his cock. Something to shot, a spark out your heart when you stop jogging in the park. And you meet a nigga dog that bites bark, buds spilling on the sidewalk. Staying in the light is smart despite staying on course, of course, cause the smell of death escapes and not a corpse is rough. Top half man and I'll be damned if that bottom half horse. Hush, lost souls rushing to touch the black hole, wishing to be just gagging and fuss, cause the demon face leaking pus. Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in a rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in a rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in a rush to touch the black hole. What? Busting out the dust, these rough niggas is coming up in a rush to touch the black hole. What can I say? Lay in my bed at night like it's a grave. Listen to the voices in my mind misbehave. Best to be glad that my mind is awake. Voices taking over days makes me afraid. Then I go to sleep cause the voices make me weak. If I reach out for the light, then I know they're gonna speak through mutilated teeth. I fumigated beef. I treat my lady sweet. Why do I gotta shriek in the night? Think I'm living right? My insomnia is bringing me to ride. Lunatic lyrical things to keep me from my dreams. I wake up and I scream. Reality to me ain't really what it seems. Imagine an old set scene when you woke up with a cold sweat scream.
Roll Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist. Don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Thank you, God, for this day we have lived. Everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness with no sway towards our lower selves, indulging our lower selves. Amen. Try to get that right. Peace and love. How y'all feel? Elliot say talking about me. I don't know what you misspelled. What you wrote something earlier? I didn't see nothing earlier. Oh, I see it. Peace and love, the universe and beyond. It's all good, man. We all misspell. I know I do it all the time. I have to check when I do my titles. I really be trying to make sure that I don't misspell in the title. So I double check with the Google search before I do them. But that that's a fail safe, but that doesn't work all the time. I'm telling you. Trust me, it don't work all the time. Sometimes the misspelling will pop up and be something, not what you intended at all. I'm gonna just freestyle it today because I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't feeling good about yesterday's show. It was too scripted, so today I'm gonna fucking let it flow. Let me play this right here.
Bill Moore. See, this is federal time. You will not seal these records. You got to be pardoned by the governor or the president. You done fucked up. If you have children who took this loan out, take them to see an attorney because they're going to need it. If there's any time for our family to get together and take care of this thing right here, it's going to be now. Y'all think that this was something small. This was by design. They have people called forecasters that knew who would take the money and how they would get it. They set you up again. Y'all thought I was blowing smoke up y'all ass. He's signing bills in the law to make sure that they have an extended period of time. He done hired a special prosecutor. They firing people at the Chicago Housing Authority. 6,280 people are about to lose their housing and catch a federal charge. They can wipe their ass on their degrees to the tune of $135 million stolen from the SBA. Right now, currently, they have prosecuted about 1,000 cases, and altogether, it's about $1 billion worth of PPP money. I'm going to say it again. Get your house in order, and whatever money you got in the bank, get that goddamn money out the bank. Transfer that property.
Let me let it play from the beginning.
Let me update y'all. Last year, I told y'all that wire fraud carried about 25 years. They had 5 years to catch up on this wire fraud. They no longer have 5 years, they have 10, so they don't have to be in any particular hurry. Now, if you mess with more than one agency across the board, they're going to notify the other ones, get your house in order. See, when you filled out the application, that was a charge. I want to say that was 2 to 5 years, but it's been a while since I did this video. I'm not doing the research, you got to do it. But wire fraud itself, once you had that money transferred into the bank, it was 25 years. Let me tell you what they're looking for, because they finna flag your account. If you had more than one PPP come to your one address, they're going to flag you. If your income tax returns for your business do not line up with what you told the SBA, they're going to flag you. If you didn't have a business registered when you filled out that application, they're going to flag you. If you purchased anything, if you started a business, if you used that money to fund a new business, they're going to confiscate all of it. The equipment, all of it. If you own anything, get it out your fucking name. Transfer that property.
Hopefully y'all get the point, man. I talked about it a little bit last night, but they coming down on these people, man. A lot of people, I think it was a setup from the jump, and that's what she's saying. You know, another way to get y'all in prison, like I said, about the freaking over $600 transactions that they're doing with the IRS. Again, that's targeting people that's doing possibly illegal things that, you know, get paid over $600 in a year's time. You're going to have to pay some taxes on that. And then if you can't produce the records, then you're in trouble. And then there goes your case. There goes you going to jail. Like, they can't catch you. They legalized the weed in a lot of states. They can't catch you doing that, but they could catch you not paying your taxes, bro. That's how they got freaking all the main mobsters throughout history. Like, the people that's the most slippery, they get them through this way. Bro, they coming for y'all, man. Let me see. Is there any comments worth of crap on here? Says, from the moment they announced these loans, I said it's a setup. Somebody said, tell them get it in blood. Yeah, they're going to do that. They will do that. Yes, they will. They'll put you in a Texas prison with no AC and your ass going to fucking die in there. Let me stop cursing, y'all. I don't know. I'm emotional. It says, yeah, this was definitely by design to once again enslave our people. A lot scammed, but I know a lot who used it legitimately. It was the desire of equity that they preyed upon. It says PPP, preparing people for prison. It says, oh yes, Queen, tell them that they just passed the law pushing a lot of old head out of prison just because they ready for them fresh legs. Be safe. Oh, man. Yeah, man, I hope y'all didn't get tied up in that shit. I almost got tied up in that shit. I didn't. Like, I don't like free money, so it keeps me safe. If somebody tries to solicit me online and say, I got $1,000 for a year here, I'm going to be like, I will pass. Because I know there's no such thing. There's always a price tag. You're going to pay one way or another. There ain't no such thing as free money. It's going to come with a price tag. And I really, really believe that. I don't want anything for free. I want to pay for my shit. I'll pay for my shit. I don't want nothing. Don't give me nothing for free. Don't do me no favors. I'm good.
In the law, it matters.
Jessica, hold on a second. So he has documents, papers in boxes. The Chinese and the Russians can't access those boxes of information. But Hillary Clinton's server is public to the world.
That's what she was punished.
No, she wasn't
lost the
punished.
election.
You know what?
Yes,
Did they raid her home? Did they raid her home? Did they actually come with machine guns to her home?
Because she cooperated like a normal human being.
I think this is
He had documents that contained information that were so classified we could not even talk about what was contained in them. It is breaking the law. It matters.
Jessica, hold on a second. So he has documents, papers in boxes. The Chinese and the Russians can't access those boxes of information. But Hillary Clinton's server is public to the world.
That's what she was punished.
No, she wasn't
lost the
punished.
election.
You know what?
Yes,
Did they raid her home? Did they raid her home? Did they actually come with machine guns to her home?
Because she cooperated like a normal human being.
I think this is a
He had.
I don't think they meant to have her on Fox News. I don't think they knew what she was going to say, maybe. Maybe they brought her on there to argue it. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's entertainment, y'all. I hope y'all don't think the news is freaking news. It's not. It's entertainment. So enjoy it for that. It says, well, won't see her on there again. That's what I'm saying. It's like somebody fucked up. Wait, hold on. Did somebody fuck up? Did they ask her questions before the interview? I don't know what that clip was. I couldn't wait for it to get to the end. So some of that shit I just don't have the patience for. I've been on the internet way too long. I just have very little patience. These people are abusing their kids with this filter. I don't like that. It's funny. No, it's not. Fucking abuse. Oh, wait.
Like rules to live by, but I wanted to add my own. So here are 5 things I would never do in corporate America as a Black professional. Number 1, I would never not negotiate my salary. They are lowballing you, period. 9 times out of 10, they got the money. Somebody who's worked in HR, I've seen the pay discrepancies between people of color and white professionals. As somebody who's negotiated their own pay, they got it. Number 2, I would never allow myself to be baited into unprofessional behavior. I don't know what it is about corporate America and the politics game, but between the racism and the microaggressions, it's like people want you to act out of character. Do not give them that satisfaction.
Don't chimp out.
I will literally leave before I become visibly angry. Number 3, I would never respond to an email while I'm angry. I'm keeping a paper trail on you. You're not going to catch me slipping. Number 4, I'll never be afraid to take time off for my mental health. People literally die over their jobs. Not going to be me. And I ran out of time, so peep the comments for number 5. Have y'all seen that video of that guy saying what he would never do in corporate America as a Black man? That shit is like Bible, like rules to live by. But I wanted to add my own. So here are.
Let me see. Are there any worth the shit comments on this one? Always negotiate your salary. But then we're talking about working for somebody else. But then again, running your own business is not for everybody. So if you are going to work for somebody, then yes, negotiate your salary. Yep. I remember when I was getting paid salary, and then I found out later I was getting hold because they told me later, somebody else told me that wasn't involved in the process of me getting on. And they were my supervisor, so they saw all my paperwork, and they was like, bro, there's a lot of, he said it in a way like there's a lot of room there. He said some comment like that. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, they holding me. I got ass smashed. He didn't want to say it though. Let me read this comment. It says, currently moving to a job that pays 9K more because I found out my colleagues were making 9K currently more to do the same job. And I thought I was being valued initially because I leaped 9K from my prior job, but I'm following the money and less stress. Thank you, Lord, for fighting my battles. Okay, I don't even know why you made that comment. That did not add to this conversation. Thank you very much, Miss Ajibad. Let me read another one. It says, true. I was at my job 5 years, never let consummate professional go to person for many things. Never late, consummate professional, go to person for many things. Bro, y'all, it's hard to read what y'all write. It says, I had a great reputation. When they asked me to take someone's job, wait, because I knew the job. I said, yeah, okay. As I was going home, I sent my resignation. I promptly told them, since this is not 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation took place in 1865. I am no slave, and this is not a plantation, so therefore you are not my master. How dare you plan my career without asking me? It was thoughtless and unprofessional and disrespectful. So as of this day, I tendered my resignation. Man, all of the higher ups was out thought my little black girl from Brooklyn. So yes, she is correct. I didn't act out, but they don't like when you assert yourself. I'm just valuable as anyone else here. Stand up. See, like again, your comment. I don't, Okay, so did you get what happened? Did you get a better? Did you go somewhere else to make more money? Like you're not adding to the conversation. What are you even saying? He says, when they ask me to take someone's job because I knew the job, I said, yeah, okay. I was going home. Bro, you're retarded. I'm sorry. Let me move on. Fuck, it's so frustrating to me, man, that people I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to make everybody mad. This one says, feds ask for 20 plus years for Godfather of Gorilla Stone Gang and Casanova case. I have no idea. So if y'all know what that is. And Vlad is so fucking messy. All his shit is fucking derogatory. Damn, can you say lung cancer? Okay, something is up with today because I'm all emotional for like no reason. Like I'm in a good mood. I'm good. Like why am I emotional? I can't call it. I'm sorry. I can't even call it. I had a good day today too. I accomplished. I took care of some business, but I was out there in the sun. I did get heated up. It was fucking hot as fuck out there today. Man, I was walking around outside and it was like my breath was taken away. My back was hot. My feet were like, I'm still cooling off and I've been home for hours. This one says, it is now a statement of fact to say former President Donald Trump stole U.S. nuclear weapons secrets from the White House and put them in his home office safe. FBI searches Trump's home to look for nuclear documents and other items. So they released what it was they were looking for? Dun, dun, dun. It says 6 schools in North Carolina County to place AR-15s in every building this school year. No comment. This one says, the older I get, the more I realize I just don't want certain types of people around me anymore. Man, my patience for people. What's the saying? It was a guy says, was he a psychologist? I know he's an old white dude. He said, the more I learn about humans, the more I enjoy the company of my dog. And I'm not really a dog person. I like cats over dogs. Not to say I don't like dogs. I like dogs. I just like cats better. But you input cat in there, and then that would work very clearly, very, very good for me. Everybody keeps playing this, bro. Like, I don't even want to talk about it because the point of this is to scare the shit out of black moms who don't want their freaking kids to be with their dads. And here's a good freaking example to not do it. And then they just keep playing it over and over and over and over again. What subconscious effect does it have on these black moms? They're worried about their kids going with the dad. He's going to kill the kids and kill himself for something fucking stupid. Knowing that this type of thing hardly ever happens. And it's really mostly the moms just keeping the kids away from the dads for no good reason. But when they see stories like this gives them ammo to be like, shit, I don't know what he's going to do to my kids. Shit, I don't keep my kids safe. Oh, it makes me sick. The society is so sick. We're so distorted. We're so fucked. I saw a clip when they were talking about the relationships and how like men, there's like a between 25 and 50 years old. There's a whole group of single men that's like forever single. And it's like the society has changed, and the women are like they said in the clip, it's because women are having higher standards, and that's the reason. But I think that's code for something else. Being ridiculous and insane on the cover of higher standards and keeping my kids safe. Meanwhile, it's a lot of single women out there too. I don't know what happened in that statistic, but the way the question was asked, are they happy or something like that? I don't remember. Something like that. So it was like the women, they could be single, but they're saying they're happy, or maybe it was having sexual partners, but they could be single and still have sexual partners and happy with their life as far as that, as far as the survey, on the survey, they're going to say that. But I look around and I see a lot of miserable single women who are pretending to be happy. They're taking pictures online everywhere they go to pretend like they're living their best fucking life. But they're single and they're miserable as fuck. And society has put them in this damn box because they're supposed to behave a certain way. They're supposed to expect a certain thing. They're supposed to do things a certain way. And it's really insane. So then it just leaves them alone. And that's the whole point. I remember when I used to see all those commercials all the time, they would show the black mom with her kid in the damn commercial. And it seems like it's nothing like nefarious about it. But then in the same commercial, you see the white family with the mom and the dad. And the kid. So like it's subliminal, and it's like painting them and pushing them into this box of being a single mom and just taking care of kids alone, and that's the way she's supposed to be. But damn, and then you got the moms who like, I was raised by my mom, I'm fine, you know, and it's like, so my kids will be fine, they don't need no dad. So then like it really hurts my heart because you struggled, you had a hard time, and now you're putting that same thing on your child. Like again, like you're doing the cycle again. It's like it didn't have to be so hard for you. And I mean, any single parent out there can agree that it's freaking hard and it's ridiculously difficult. With two parents, it's hard. You really need a village to raise a child, and to household to have like a stable freaking like environment. It needs to have an extended family to help with sometimes when, you know, economic issues, or to watch the kids, or just random ass shit. One person holding down the bills, taking care of kids, going to work, you know what I'm saying, taking care of the house. That is ridiculous, bro. That's way too much. It was never intended for that way. And traditionally, historically, we never lived like that, ever in history. Because it's not a successful way to move. I don't know why I'm emotional, bro.
Attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves. I am honored to work alongside them. Let me address recent unfounded attacks on the
this country is unraveling at the seams. Y'all don't know the significance of this stuff. Well, let me break it down for you, because the confidence in the government has been shot to shit for the longest. The confidence in the media is shot to shit. The confidence in regular like law enforcement, like the cops, is shot to shit. But our society still has faith in like our institution of like the FBI. You know, people tend to look at it as impartial, and they just really looking for justice. The Department of Justice and all of that shit. When the feds come in, then it's like the feds are the ones who investigate the crooked cops and shit. So look, in our society, after what has happened recently with Donald Trump, you got all of these saying that the FBI is political. I mean, they were saying that back when the whole thing happened with Hillary Clinton too. That's true. I'm not gonna lie, that was happening. So, but still, it's coming back around in like a stronger force. And along with all the other things that's going on, Roe versus Wade, the pandemic, inflation, you know, Ukraine, all of this is making a perfect storm. And you got these people who are now if you got people, they already stormed the Capitol, right? They don't have faith in the FBI. If they don't have faith in the media, they don't have faith in their religion, they don't have faith in the government, they don't have faith in, what do you think is going to happen as a result of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the law and order? Because if don't nobody believe in the feds, they don't feel like the feds is coming in to really establish order, then you talking about chaos, bruh. You're talking about a country that's falling apart. I know you're not hearing me. Why am I emotional? What's going on?
Right now, after it was announced that the DOJ was attempting to unseal the warrant the FBI had to raid Donald Trump's house, Trump went on Truth Social and said, "Witch hunt," in all caps. He is terrified. As I've said before, if Donald Trump truly believed that this whole investigation was a sham, he can release the warrant as well and expose all the evidence.
And then it's the perfect media story too. That's what I was saying last night. Perfect media story. It's perfect. Everybody just picks their side. They don't really dig into the information, and then they argue about it and they fight about it because they're emotional about it, because they feel strongly about protecting whatever side they feel like they're on, that they identify as. It's so perfect with all the shit going on. So who gives two shits? Like, really, at the end of the day, who gives two shits about whatever the hell they wanted to get out of Donald Trump's home? Like, is something really major going to happen as a result of this? Like, really? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Donald Trump goes to jail? I mean, and I don't even see that happening. So it's all bullshit. It says, when you tell him over the phone you're built like a goddess, but he never took art history and is in for a shock. I took art history. I took quite a few art classes, and they did talk about this. And you know what I find funny about this all the time is that these people are always wrong. The damn professionals are always wrong when it comes to stuff like this. They always over freaking think it. And, you know, I be like, you know, it could have just been porn. This was like early porn, bro. You know, but they would never say that. It was, you know, anyways, I'm gonna move on. Well, I said that in class. I don't know if I said that in class or I might have put it in a paper I wrote or something. But whenever I looked at that and I read all the stuff about it, I got to thinking and I was like, man, I don't think they're right about what they're saying this is. Like, somebody made this for fun, and then maybe they sold it and they could give it to other people. Maybe they made multiples. Freaking porn. Stone Age porn. Y'all think those people were very different than us? And I'll be saying all the time, we haven't been out the bush that long. People get offended when I say that because they don't really understand what I mean. I don't mean running around with loincloths and freaking starving to death. I mean freaking not living the way we do now in these boxes, driving cars, going to the grocery store, all of these amenities that we have for the modern world. And this is the name of the show today. The name of the show today is Privilege Equals Handicap. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, who was it? What's his name? I can't think of his name. He said, you know, these people are not the same. You got 400 years of privilege on this side, and then you got 400 years of like oppression on this side. After that amount of time, these people are not the same. Okay, it's not that they're a different species, it's just that they're not built the same. Okay, and there's disadvantages and advantages to both sides. You have to understand this. So you're gonna get sometimes your privilege leads to you being incapable, and that's what I mean by handicapped. And then now you become dependent. You become dependent on someone else to take care of things for you, because literally you cannot do it anymore because you've spent so much time not doing it. It's really simple, but I'm gonna get into that more later because I don't want to dig into that too heavy, because that's my main topic for today. I'm gonna come back to that
right now. We've got crew out there covering that part of it as well. As soon as we find out more information here at the Cincinnati
yeah. So this could be as a result of the Trump situation with the FBI raiding his compound or whatever. So some guy tried to attack the FBI building. It says it was like the field building. Do I have a video on this? And they killed him. It was a standoff after hours. I'm sure they did not want to kill him. And they said that he put his gun up and they had to kill him. And just so happened he was on Capitol on January 6th too. Let me see. I'm sure. Do I have something on this? Is it in here? Where is it? It's not in there. OMG. What is this? So let's talk about that. I want to come back to that. That's funny. Boston children. Shit. Where do I have it then? Hold on, y'all. I can't mention something and not fucking play it. So give me a second. I gotta look it up now. Cause let me check my history real quick. Where the hell did I even see that? Oh shit. I'm gonna just type it in. It's where was it at? It was in what state was that? Fuck. What state was that? Okay. And let's see, guy. Damn it. What did he do? He Cincinnati, that's the city. Okay, it was Cincinnati. Can I spell that right? Here we go. Back to the freaking spelling. Cincinnati and then FBI standoff. I think that'll work. Let's see. FBI standoff. Let's see if that works. Yep. 8 hours ago, 2:53 ABC News. Let me play this. Yeah, it's all about them key terms. And that's what I'd be saying about the AI training us. The AI trains us. We know which key terms work. And a person didn't teach you that. Freaking the algorithm taught you that. Which key terms will work to get the result that you want over time of putting in key terms and having different search results. After a time, you realize which keywords will get you your result. The algorithm has trained you. So who's land code on who? We coded the algorithm, and then the algorithm coded us.
to this breaking news in Ohio. This concerns a standoff with a man who tried to break into allegedly an FBI office there. Let's listen in.
What type of vehicle he had left the scene in. He was traveling in a white Ford Crown Victoria. He headed northbound on Interstate 71. Near the rest area, the northbound rest area on Interstate 71 in Warren County, one of our troopers did spot the vehicle, attempted to initiate a traffic stop. This was at 9:37 this morning. Attempted to initiate a traffic stop with that vehicle, and a pursuit ensued out of that. Throughout the pursuit, it continued northbound on 71. The suspect vehicle did fire shots during that pursuit. The vehicle then exited on State Route 73 and went east on State Route 73. They traveled east to Smith Road. They went north on Smith Road, almost over top of Interstate 71, where the vehicle came to a stop. Once the vehicle came to a stop, gunfire was exchanged between officers on scene and the suspect. At this time, no officers have been injured as a result of this. The scene is still active, and there's still an active standoff situation occurring at this time. So we will be back with further details in a little while.
So is there more than one person? How is it still active?
Transpiring here.
Or was this before he got killed?
Yes. So the situation is contained to a certain area. There is a perimeter set up within that area. So nothing outside of that area. Right now, there is no public risk to anything outside of that area.
And what risk? Why the lockdown?
I'm sorry?
If there's no public risk, why the lockdown?
So within a certain area, obviously within a certain perimeter area, that we would want people to be locked down in that area just to ensure their safety.
People ask dumb questions. It's like, yeah, it's a contained area to a certain extent. 7 hours ago, 5 hours ago. Let's see if we can get something more recent. 3 hours ago.
Was he shot prior to you guys shooting? I'm sorry. Was he shot earlier?
There was shots fired earlier, yes. Gunfire was exchanged. That I can't confirm at this point in time. So I can't confirm that either. I would have to check and confirm that, but I don't know.
That's a lie.
Again, we haven't been able to confirm his identity, so until we confirm his identity, it wouldn't be right for us to speak on behalf of that. Yeah, so at the point in which officers moved in using less than lethal tactics, and he raised the firearm toward law enforcement, that was around 3:42 this afternoon. The time that the shots were fired was around 3:42.
They trying to get him to confirm that the guys did. That's tricky with the questions. And so, damn it, I lost my train of thought. They didn't want to kill this guy. They really didn't want to. It's not the same way that they handle other citizens. It's like they had to, it kind of sounds like suicide by cop to me, you know? So is that the point? Can somebody give an overall fucking story of this?
Time, the FBI in the news for another reason today. We just heard from Mr. Weinstein. This is a live look at Cincinnati, courtesy of EarthCam, where an armed man in body armor tried breaching a security screening area at an FBI field office. An hours-long standoff with that suspect ended just moments ago. Ohio State Highway Patrol saying after the suspect was confronted by FBI agents, police chased him onto Interstate 71, where he then shot at troopers several times. Once the chase ended, law enforcement and the suspect exchanged gunfire. News Nation's Kelly Meyer joins us live. So, Kelly, this standoff, again, just ending a short time ago.
That's right, Nicole. And FBI offices across the country on high alert today. Authorities say an armed man wearing body armor tried to break into an FBI field office in Cincinnati, Ohio, exchanging gunfire with law enforcement. That standoff, as you said, just ending. And it all started around 9 a.m. this morning. The suspect fleeing the area after attempting to break into the FBI office, leading to a police pursuit, with the suspect firing shots while fleeing. Police were able to contain the suspect in a mile radius where the standoff was ongoing for much of the day.
This morning, male subject attempted to gain entry into.
So he tried to get. Hold on.
The FBI field office in Cincinnati. He was armed. He was unsuccessful and he fled that area.
So what was he trying to do? He tried to break into a FBI field office. So what do they do in field offices? Is that where they like process? Would there be evidence in this building? What would be his motivation for breaking into the building? Like I say, that's why it sounds like a suicide by cop type of deal. But I also think it's related because the ladies said that FBI offices are on alert. So then they're thinking like, okay, well then there's a reason why this guy did this. As a result, they're mad because of what happened with Trump. And other people might try to do stuff like this around the country. That's the reason why I think this is interesting to me. That's why I covered this. It says law enforcement response has ended after police engaged in a standoff with a man wearing body armor and sporting an AR-15 tried to break into the Cincinnati FBI field office. The suspect exchanged gunfire with the police. It says FBI. These are the comments underneath the video. That was the caption I just read. This is the comments. It says FBI field office should have their front door as well guarded as their coworkers had Trump's front gate protected. FBI field office should have their front door as well guarded as their coworkers had Trump's front. I don't get your point. Another comment, it says, well, in his defense, he thought he could do whatever he wanted and demand they give the boxes back to Trump. He would have gone down to Florida, but he gave all his money and donations to Trump and couldn't afford gas. Oh, okay. So he was trying to get in there and get the boxes or whatever evidence. So the field office had, or he assumed that they had evidence in there. So he was trying to accomplish something. Okay. Let me read some more. It says, oh, just stop already. We all know where this is headed. I like watching a movie and knowing what's going to happen. Set. These people try to be so clever. Another one, it says, great job, right wingers. Keep it up with the unhinged rhetoric. Another comment, the suspect was trying to give the FBI another laptop. They did not want it. Okay, funny. I'll give you that one. Don't worry, everyone. You can totally trust the word of the FBI. See, it's really super political, and that's what's really scary about it. And of course, I'm not an FBI, I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Somebody asked me some questions about what happened. I'm gonna say I don't know. I've been in that situation before. I don't know nothing. I'm not that guy, but I understand that there's a need for people like this. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a lawless society, or you want to have, some people that come in and hopefully set things right, or, at the very least persecute the guy who did the fucked up shit. Another comment, it says, why will the AG announce a search warrant before execution? Yeah, that's what everybody was saying, because that's what Trump was saying. He was like, it was unannounced. Like, okay, well, bro, if they finna search your house, they gonna tell you so you can hide your stuff and put it away? No, they're not finna tell you. They're finna run up in there and try to find the shit that they're looking for. It's a shady business. You should know. Let me read another one. It says, damn, it must suck to just have someone bust in and do what they want, huh? What is that supposed to mean? Him as president, coming in as a president, doing what he wants? Is that what that means? He didn't bust in. He got elected. Whatever. Wait. They can raid unmarked and unannounced, but they can't handle a single shooter? What are they saying? It didn't come out of nowhere. They've been talking about Trump since June. If Trump wasn't a criminal and a liar, he wouldn't be in this position, or we wouldn't be in this position. Well, a lot of the freaking politicians are criminals and liars. I'll say that. So if that's just the criteria, then they should be raiding a whole bunch of. Why they ain't in Nancy Pelosi's house? And that's something that people should really care about. This right here is like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a big deal. I just don't see it that way. Oh, he had some secrets. Like, if these things were really dangerous, there's no way he would have been able to leave up out of there with that shit. If it was somehow going to be able to, like, someone get a hold of it and take over the United States or bomb the United States, or if there was any real freaking, danger related to it, ain't no way in hell that shit would have been at Mar-a-Lago in his safe. Come on. Don't be stupid. Because at the end of the day, the people in the government, they still want to protect their own ass. So if it was something Trump was bumbling and fumbling around with that could possibly cause harm to some of them, you think they wouldn't have been on top of that shit? They would have been all over that. Probably everybody knows whatever the forms are, whatever it is, probably everybody knows what it is and what it contains. You know, the people that's in, they all know. Anyways, what do I have for y'all? Let's do the Russell Brand. I don't want to bore y'all to death, though. He talks about the Great Reset. I didn't watch it, so I don't even know what's in it. Maybe I'll go back to Instagram. I'm on early. Pat said he was going to take a nap, so I guess he's coming, but and Deuce is off, so he may or may not show up. You know, sometimes my best shows is when I'm freaking ranting on here anyways. It's not good for my heart, though. I don't get enough clicks. They're suppressing the shit out of me. People are saying they don't get notifications when I'm going live or posting videos or whatever. It really fucking sucks, man. I used to get views when I first started. I used to get views. Now I get nothing. And the show is way better now. So I know they're fucking mashing my shit. I got like 270 subscribers. Out of all of them, only 2 or 3 of them watch the video. Like, you can't tell me that. I don't believe it. Oh well, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm gonna just keep on making fucking videos. I'm all over the place. They ain't gonna be able to stomp me out. I'm freaking ants. I'm everywhere.
At Mar-a-Lago. This is a major national security risk.
If it was, we wouldn't be talking about it like this. I'm just to let go. Oh shit, of course. Oh, it went to that. Oh, this was that thing. Get in trouble. Do a better job. Cost of living in 1938.
38 cost of living. New house, $3,900. Listen, look at the eggs. Eggs. 18 cents a dozen. A dozen eggs for 18 cents. Man, that's like not even 2 pennies an egg. But check out the time. That's like 84 years? That's one grandma ago. And one grandma, gas prices were 10 cents per gallon, fam. We be hitting like $6. That's like a 6,000% increase. So inflation is real. These prices are real. Like, this is why building wealth is so important. Imagine what this is going to be another grandma from now, and me and you, when we're grandmas and grandpas. Another 80 years. You know what this is going to be? This is ridiculous. Listen, be intentional about not just blowing your money fast, but blowing your money slow, keeping more cash, and multiplying that cash through you.
No, I think We should do that, but we need to focus on freaking changing this damn system, bro. Period. Oh yeah, look at this right here. Check this out. Is it showing? Okay. Average price for a unit of insulin in Australia, $6.94. UK, $7.52. France, $9.08. Germany, $11. Canada, $12. Japan, $14.40. USA, $98.70. And that's why yesterday I was talking about it, how that was the thing they took out of the bill. The one good thing that was in that bill that passed, they took it out. And it was a cap of $30, I want to say, for the insulin. Look at this, $98.70. Look at this. Like, are these other countries just not even in the same category? You talking like, you know what I'm saying? Gas prices up in here. $98, that's, I don't know, man. That's a little bit more, bro. What's up, Pat?
Well, now.
How you feel, man?
Oh, not too bad, man. A little bit tired, but you know, I'm here.
Yeah. I was showing this post. It shows the price of insulin. About $7 in Australia, about $8 in UK, $9 France, $14 in Japan, and USA is $98, like $99, almost $100. That's the price
of living, bro.
for a unit of insulin.
Yeah, the price of living is just, you know, you gotta, you know, you gotta multiply, you know, the amount of beers you drink, amount nah, like I don't know, bro. It's just.
And when you said the price of living, this is literally the price of living, because if these people don't get this insulin, they will literally die. So they're gonna pay that $100 per unit of insulin all year long for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Or they'll die. Yeah, because it was the clip earlier where they was talking about, he was all like, save your money or whatever, you know, and I'm like, man, this damn system is all fucked up. I mean, they could just keep on raising the prices to the point where it don't matter how much you make, you can't afford nothing. You're gonna be homeless, a homeless millionaire. Literally, look at California.
Yeah. It's real bad out there.
Man, this is scary right here. I know you're gonna get into this other clip. Hold on. Well, let's start here. This is
the owners of these popular black hair brands.
They always have to put these fucking songs in there, but it's the pictures of the people who own all of these. These are black hair products, and these are the pictures of the people. It looks like mostly white men. And it's products, you know, Shea Moisture, Dark and Lovely, African Pride, Blue Magic, Sulfurate, Aunt Jackie's Africa's Best, whatever. Cantu, my daughter uses that. Main Choice. It looks like it was at least one Indian dude in there, and there was a lady in there. She could have been Iranian or whatever, but whatever. You get the point. None of them are black. So this is Dr. Boyce Watkins posted this. He said, "Did you know this?"
Most of them probably originally was.
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. I was about to read the
comment. I
was
just said most of them. No, I was just about to say. I said most of them are probably originated, you know, were made by black people, but because of you know, proprietary costs, like being able to put the stuff together.
The way capitalism works, because capital is king. So you can have the best idea, but you ain't shit without that capital behind it. Yeah. And guess what? Guess who's gonna give you the capital? One of these people look like this.
Guess who's gonna give you the sausage?
What you say, the sausage?
They gonna give you the 2-inch sausage. Yeah, they're gonna give
Yeah,
you their little 2-inch sausage. They're gonna screw you
yeah. Whether you want it or
because
not,
they gonna
you be like, I don't like sausage. Well, that ain't what I heard.
well, oh damn.
Let me read the caption underneath Boyce Watkins. He said, "Did you know this? Black funded doesn't always mean black owned, and the products marketed to us aren't always made by and for us. Huge shout out to black owned brands that are holding it down for the community. Use the comment section to drop some black owned alternatives." I don't know if it's gonna work. People are gonna go into the grocery store and buy the can too because that shit works. I don't know if that's the answer, anyways, though. But people need to know what the hell they're doing, though. They need to be if they feel like they're supporting. If they're just buying it because it works for their hair, that's one thing. But if they buying it because they think they're supporting black folks, then they need to be aware that they're not.
Yeah.
Of the uterus, the cervix, which is the opening of the uterus, and the fallopian tubes, which are attached to the sides of the uterus. Some gender affirming hysterectomies will also include the removal of the ovaries, but that's technically a separate procedure called a bilateral oophorectomy. And not every gender affirming hysterectomy includes that, and people who are getting gender affirming hysterectomies do not have to have their ovaries removed.
Whoa. That is child abuse. And not only that, that is evil and satanic to take away that human being's ability to bear children in the future. It is evil. And third, you guys, that is so damaging to a young person's body. When you get a hysterectomy, guess what? You face depression and menopausal symptoms. You are putting children through that. Sickening.
It says Boston Children's Hospital offering hysterectomies to kids for gender affirmation. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this looks like an official clip right here. What do you think? Random.
No, I think it's pretty damn sick, bro. Because I mean, none of these children really know like. For you to take advantage of these children that think that whatever it is that they're going on, because they're having psychological issues whether they realize it or not. Adults obviously have a problem because they're not looking at the reality of what's going on, because they want to play dress up. They want, like, that's what kids do when they're young. They want to they want to play dress up. They want to be this. They want to be that. And by the time you become an adult, then you realize none of the shit that you thought you wanted to be as a kid is what you really want to be when you're an adult. So taking all of these choices away from them, because I mean, like they said, they're giving them a choice, but really once they get to a certain point, it's surgery. Like, they've taken all of the potential, the possibilities of this child away at whatever age it is.
It's
So
insane because I remember when I was 21, I didn't know shit. I didn't know my
and
ass from a hole in the ground.
swore we knew everything.
Yeah, didn't know shit.
And that's an adult.
And that's what we consider as our society as an adult. But I
Well, I'm
don't
just
know
saying,
that. Yeah, yeah.
even
I
at
hear you.
21, we're talking
A teenage, a child, a real child, small,
about,
nutty. Wait, there you go. You was breaking up. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm just saying that's like real children that's making choices that not even us as adults were
You know,
making.
yeah,
And
or
we
cap,
realize,
or
because I
even
mean,
capable.
if anybody is even honest with themselves and look back, a 40-year-old, 40, 50-year-old that looks back to when they were 18, 20, what they were trying to do then, bro, like most of them was probably trying to, they want to go to the club, go to concerts, get high and get drunk, and just shit that, what I'm saying, if they realized it, like, they could have been doing something totally different, like getting a degree or doing I don't know. That it's just that I think they're robbing these children of their life at such an early age.
Yeah. Super, super horrible. I don't even want to stay on that topic too long. Like that lady said, if there is evil, that's fucking evil. This
Yeah.
clip right here, you're gonna sink your teeth into right here. But this guy with the 13 number is what kind of stands out to me. Well, I think we talked about it before, as far as like the 12 disciples and then Jesus, because you got the zodiac, but then it's like the and I heard it in a song, in a rap song. It was Goody Mob, and they was like, G they say it's 12 disciples, but Jesus make 13. That's 13 disciples. So it's like that number 13. So that's part of this clip that really stands out to me, that really kind of put things together, even though I know a lot of stuff. You know a lot of stuff, heard a lot of this stuff. But the number 13 makes me think, after I saw this clip, that's what I kept thinking about, was the number 13. So anyways, let me play this. You're gonna sink your teeth in this one.
Water and fire. Whoa, now what do we have here? As we can see, when Europeans arrived in the Americas during the 16th and 17th century, they found that some American tribes had created alliances or confederacies. These agreements allowed the member tribes of the Confederacy to control trade and keep the peace in their region. You see, the one thing that a lot of people don't know is that the confederacies were really truly ran by us, by melanated people. And what a lot of people don't know is that that flag is actually our ancient symbolism, right? Did you know that that flag there that you see, right there, actually has 4 triangles on it? 4 triangles, and that actually represents earth, wind, water, and fire. You had a whole group of been trying to put you on game for years, since like the 70s, but nobody was listening, huh? Nobody was listening. Not to mention that flag there has 13 stars on it. What's so significant about 13? It's a very powerful and ancient number of our ancestors that represented the divine feminine. And if you know, like I know, 13 is very significant. We had 13 tribes of Israel, right? We have 13 months on the Hebrew calendar. We actually have 13 astrology signs. Did y'all know that? 13 signs of astrology, right? And it wasn't Jesus and 12 disciples. It was actually 13 disciples, huh? Because Jesus was a disciple too. And did you know how many colonies did they have when we first, gave them the knowledge to set up here? It was 13 colonies. You see, that is a very powerful and significant number to our ancestors, but for some reason, they turned it into evil. And again, because it represents the divine feminine, some reason we had to make it a bad or a negative thing, like Friday the 13th. Hello. I guess really the real question is, who made you hate yourself, right? Because that flag there is symbolism that stretches back thousands of years to your ancestors and goes back much further than any of these slavery times. And let's get this straight too, right? The Civil War was not about slavery. This was about American Indians, tribal Americans who were fighting over their land, right? You had American Indians who were fighting against each other, right? And then you have Britain over here sitting to the side like, oh, these boys over here tripping. So you know what? I'm going to actually fund both sides of the war. And whoever wins, hell, we're going to be victorious too. And we're going to swoop right in and take control. And of course, after the Confederates lost and the Civil War was over, the whole country was in turmoil. And of course, Britain slid right in and said, hey, brother, don't worry about it. We can pay off whatever y'all need. We got money, we got investment. We're going to fund to refix all of this. And they started extending us loans that they knew we would never pay off. And of course, along with that came the 1871 Naturalization Act that naturalized all tribal Americans from Choctaw, Cherokee, Blackfoot into Black U.S. citizens with no longer having rights or inalienable rights for that. Whoa.
He said a lot, huh? It's a little bit is a little bit off, but for the most part, I like it. What say you?
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Confederacy, and I mean, the 13 is the more intriguing because like really it does line up with the 13 different lunar cycles. I forget all of the everything that it adds up to, but I know that it's very significant. But like I said, that is something that they used because like a real flag is constructed of different elements, and it has to have scientifically uh alchemy, like the alchemy of how
The
it's all put
universe.
together. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. The
But
13 really stood out to me on that. That's what had my mind thinking after I watched it. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's really like like I said, when it comes to 13, because it has many. I'm sure, like it has a lot of different meanings. But like I said, for us, I know it had something to do with the lunar cycles, but I mean that's why 13 shows up in so many different places. You know, especially
And then
in
he said the
Bible
divine
stories.
feminine, the divine feminine. And then that's what I be talking about all the time, chaos versus order. And then, this masculine principle that after colonization, you've had this input of this masculine principle where you worship the man. And really that's what, like Jesus, he's the man, you know so that's what it is. So but before that, it was the divine feminine that we worship, which is really the whole thing. And it's not really has a gender left, or masculine or feminine. It encompasses the masculine. So the way we do it, we leave out the feminine and then just focus on the masculine, which is in not nature. It's anti-nature. So the whole, we call it like Mother Earth, or whatever. We call it her because that's the birth, that's the creation. On Mama's son. Only the what was it? It was a line in something that stood out to me a lot. It says, "Oh, that was Lord of the Rings. No man, no man born a woman can harm me." This guy was like a demon or whatever. He was like a soldier demon, and he would just strike people down on the battlefield. It's no man born a woman can harm me. But guess who killed him in the movie? It was a woman. A woman. She pretended to be a man, and she was on the battlefield, and she killed the shit out of his ass. This says
there's people that try to ignore. Y'all said there's certain people that try to ignore the natural principles of the universe, the natural laws, and if they ignore it or they change it at some point, it's gonna make like there's nothing above nature. Once we realize that as a whole, we'll be so much better off.
And it's like we're actually forgetting it. It's like we're actively forgetting it. And it's like the media, the TV, all of these devices are leading us down that road of actively forgetting about the superiority of nature. None of this can matter. It's like, what really, when it hits home, is when the lights go out, right? Something happens, like in Texas, we had that freeze, or if it's a hurricane or something happens, a blizzard, and the lights and stuff go off. That's when you're back to reality. Who's really running the show?
Oh shit!
What?
I mean, my thing is, I mean, it really, I think that's something that really bothers me because, when you look at, because I mean, especially when it comes to like modern medicine, like people believe in modern medicine so much to where they forget that even modern medicine has to be created by nature at some point. So, but the reason that it's like it's able to be as big as it is because when they introduce different chemicals, this, that, and the other, they can patent it. But really, the active ingredient most likely is something more at a natural state that really heals you. So why not just get
the real deal, and then
just go.
it should be free. So they just add some food coloring or some shit so they can say, hey, this is our concoction. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay for this, whatever. There should be some ground up garlic and water. You could have made it yourself. And, like a lot of the penicillin is that way. In other countries you can go easily to the to the corner store and buy fucking antibiotics. But here in the States you have to get a damn prescription. You have to go see the doctor first. And then that's what I'm saying, though. A lot of those damn antibiotics, you could probably make those at home, right?
Most likely,
it's really simple.
I would think so. I mean,
if you knew the dosages, what you would need to know is the dosages.
Well,
if you knew that,
the dosages, that's one thing, but what are they actually using to make a antibiotic or probiotic or prebiotic, like all these different cultures, or like because like some people like say like eating cheese was a way to
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And because back in the day they couldn't preserve stuff very well, like they had trouble with that. So that's really how cheese came about anyways, is so that it's something that you could keep for a good amount of time, without going bad. You could put it in your pocket or put it in something and it'll be good for a good amount of time when you're on a journey or whatever, because it's mold anyway. So then we're talking about antibiotics and we're talking about mold for the most part, so like a lot of times they use like some kind of citrus fruit to make it, so it's just like mold that grew on an orange,
or really, or maybe even mushrooms. I mean, these are some, like, I mean, honestly, I like what I've mentioned is mostly pretty much supposed to be bad for our bodies, but for others.
But that's the whole thing about the universe, though, and about balance, and about like something that's really good for you can be a poison in large amounts, and something that is a poison for you can be healing in small amounts.
True.
That's just how it works. That's why the dosage is what's important. That's those ancient knowledge that they freaking robbed us of when we all got colonized, because a lot of our ancestors knew this shit, and I be talking about all the time. And that's another thing that they do to us. We bring in these foreign trees, we bring in these foreign grasses, we bring in these foreign animals, and they wreak havoc on the environment of the natural state of things, wherever the natural environment that's for that region. So, but our ancestors knew about these wild flowers, the wild rices, you know what I'm saying, that just grew naturally. And one of them could be food and the other one could be medicine, or even made into a poison. Whatever you wanted to do with it, because you know what it is. You know about it. You get what I'm saying? I remember when I was a little kid and I used to go out in the backyard and get those honeysuckles. I think I can still identify honeysuckles. And you grab the flower and you pull the little part out the middle, and it has like a little bit of like syrup at the end. It's like a little bit of honey or something. It's sweet. It's a good amount too, enough to like, if you haven't really got any sugar in your diet, you haven't had no candy, you know what I'm saying, you can eat a few of those flowers and be pretty satisfied. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really fool with them that much as a kid. But
I'm not getting anything. You're breaking up real bad. I haven't heard nothing you said in the last. Are you in? Say something. Hey, still breaking up.
Oh.
Yeah, still breaking up. Yeah.
Not
Yeah, I
really
can't.
sure what's going on.
Okay, there it goes. Go ahead.
You
I think you're
can hear
back.
me now?
And it better. Oh shit, gone. Anyways, this post right here on Instagram, it says, "I love Houston despite the random floods, destroyed roads, bad drivers, and prostitutes on Bissonnette." I thought this was funny. If you're a Houstonian, then I think you would get that. It's pretty funny. They're like, "Say what? They got prostitutes on Bissonnette?" You know, people do compare Houston to Memphis and Atlanta for good reasons or bad reasons, however you want to say it. For logical reasons, I guess that's the word. Distractions. Something's bad finna happen in this video. No, they're just looking at making fun of this guy. Look all right to me. Tell Trump it was me. I want him to know. That shit is so political. This is an old clip, but y'all look out for the lightning. I swear it's stronger now, man. The lightning is scary right now. Y'all be careful when it's storming. Just be respectful.
I call our premier life sentence. And it goes something like this. We awake each morning and go off during the weekdays to earn the living at various jobs and undertakings until we come to the weekend. And this seems perfectly acceptable to most people. However, more people die between 6 and 9 on a Monday morning than any other time of the week. So I do what I call a translation of the English language, and I spell that Trance, with the idea that words cast spells. So when you translate that life sentence, you remember that awake is a funeral party for the dead. Mourning is the state you're in when you attend a wake. And you would have to be in a weekdays to earn the living, since urns are for the ashes of the dead. We call our jobs undertakings. Job itself is a Hebrew word for persecuted. And what we get at the end of this perverse bargain with life is the weak end of the deal as we become progressively weakened ourselves. And so our most prevalent greeting to each other is hello, the reverse of which is, oh hell. And at first, so what do I mean by the secret spells of the English language? Well, let me share with you what I call our premier life sentence. And it goes something like this. We awake each morning and go off during the weekdays to earn the living at various jobs and undertakings until we come to the weekend. And this seems perfectly acceptable to most people.
That's heavy. You there, Pat? Somebody here. What's up?
I don't know how good my connection is.
Yeah, I hear you now. You sound good.
Oh. You know who Facebook user is?
I'm not sure. I think it's one of my cousins because he said, "Hey, kinfolk." It's not identifying their name. Sometimes they'll have, if I go to Facebook, it'll show who they are, but I don't know. I think they have to, y'all have to give permission to show your name. Like it's one of the other clicks that you do. I don't know how it works. I never did it myself, but I saw the post that said, you know, you have to give permission to give your name. So that's why it doesn't say, it says Facebook users protecting their identity. Because the thing about Facebook is you have to say, be your real self on Facebook. I can't remember. Did they change that? I know it was like that back in the days. You had to have a real birthday and real face, real person type shit. So if it's your real name, like your real government name, then a lot of people may not want that broadcasted on freaking. Anyways, did you hear what the lady was saying about the spells? What do you think about that? Oh, Lost him again. Wi-Fi is the devil. Bad Wi-Fi is the devil. I want to get into the main story today. I really want to get into that. I don't know if I have a video for it, but I was thinking about it heavily. About how privilege leads to handicap. When you don't have to do things, you like what they say, when you don't use it, you lose it.
Go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things that they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them. So what's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things that they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them. So what's dangerous is when the
That's pretty heavy words right there. I used to watch his videos all the time, man. He passed away some time ago. I read his that's how I became like a fan of this guy. I read his what was it? It was his autobiography like thing. It was called Nigger, the name of it. And it was like it was the story of his life from childhood, and man, this guy's an interesting guy, bro. I recommend reading that book, watching the documentary about him, because they came out with a movie about him not that long ago. It probably shows it all in there, so you don't have to read the book, but that dude has an interesting story. Dick Gregory, that's his name. Oh man, I want to get into it, but I need somebody to talk to get into it, or else I'm gonna just be on here ranting. Wall Street has donated over $2 million to Kristen Sinema since 2017. She single-handedly stopped Democrats from addressing the corrupt tax break for hedge fund managers and private equity executives. Could there be a clear example of how big money corrupts democracy? And the only way, if y'all gonna talk about voting, like I haven't voted in a while now in the major elections. I only vote in the smaller ones. Because like it doesn't even matter until y'all get the money out of politics. That's the only way you're gonna have something that resembles democracy. We already talked about that. The guy who tried to breach the FBI building got popped. Everybody's on this. There goes Vlad again with his messy ass. They'll never have nothing really to add to the conversation, you know. And I don't know who called him out. Somebody called him out about like exploiting the black community, basically. So y'all don't watch Vlad. That dude is trash. But I like the little. I get my news from everywhere, sort of like the little headlines and stuff. So, but I don't watch his show because those random headlines sometimes will send me down a rabbit hole that'll put me on something I'm interested in. Please hang in there, black folks. The minister told me at the door, I know life looks like it's falling apart, but trust me, Allah is in total control of all the times. Just a little farther, and Allah going to show us He have not forsaken us. All praise is due to Allah. I don't know, man. I love those words, but it also sounds like defeatism. I fight with all that stuff within me all the time. You know? Action or inaction, you know? Is it going to make a difference or not? What does anything matter? Does what you do matter? God's got control over all of this, and it's, you know, everything's going to fall into place. And I guess whatever I do doesn't matter. I'll just sit here in my apartment and watch Westworld all day. I don't know. I feel emotional today for some reason. It says if the Titanic was filmed in Houston, that's fucked up. That's how deep the damn potholes. Well, on the cool though, when it rains, you have to be careful here because you don't know how, like, we have a lot of dips and stuff, like underpasses and all kinds of stuff. They go down. So, and it's really hard to tell that when you're driving because a puddle, it'll just look like a puddle, but it'll be a freaking lake. So don't drive into it. Any puddle could be a lake. It could be right in the middle of the street. Trust. Don't drive into it unless you know for sure. What's up, Pat? You back? When the FBI
I hope
reopened this.
so.
Okay, yeah. It wasn't me kicking you out.
No, I know. No, it's I got a bad connection here where I am, and but now it's kind of going in and out. Like I don't know. I
Were
don't know
you
why it
here when
does
I was
that.
talking about? Were you here when I was talking about the Cincinnati, the guy who it says men who shot at Cincinnati FBI office is dead, tied to extremists, likely attended January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. I was talking about this earlier. Wait, what'd you say?
I said no. I didn't hear any of that.
Oh, you didn't hear about this? Yeah. Let me read this. It says investigators are looking into whether the man who tried to breach the FBI field office in Cincinnati on Thursday had ties to extremist groups, including one that participated in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. According to the two law enforcement officials familiar with the matter, the suspect identified by the officials as Ricky Schieffer, so they're releasing his name now, 42, seems to have appeared in a video posted on Facebook on January 5th, 2021. So this guy, he tried to steal some stuff out of the FBI office in Cincinnati and was unsuccessful. Ended with a standoff and him being killed by the police. And what I was saying was, I think that it's motivated by these people who feel some kind of way about the FBI raiding Trump's home. Yep.
Yeah. My situation is breaking up real bad.
Okay. I think I have something to play. Let's play Russell Brand. Maybe we can get things together. Where's the Russell Brand clip? Here it is.
Thank you for joining me on this quest. Thank you for educating me on the truth as you understand it. I will do my best to reciprocate. Today we're talking about the Great Reset and how this project came about. How people's trust in democracy, particularly in the United States, has been eroded ever since the 2008 financial crash. How the people were betrayed under the Barack Obama administration, an administration for which many people, and I include myself in this, felt a great deal of what we now have to acknowledge was cockeyed optimism. The Great Reset is understood to be a project that is about centralizing and concretizing global power, centralized power. Institutions such as the WHO, WEF, events like Davos are assumed to be the kind of public face of the sometimes presumably nefarious organizations. Now, we're not interested in conspiracy theories, are we? But we want to know about conspiracy facts. We want to know if certain events are taking place that allow already powerful institutions, corporations, government, private, public organizations to become more powerful at whose expense? Your expense. How are we ever going to arrest that? If there is a project that has the support of the most powerful individuals and institutions in the world, what's the only way that we're ever going to stop them? Tell me now, what's the only way we're ever going to stop them? In this conversation with Matt Taibbi, we got into it. Matt Taibbi's a legit journalist. He's not interested in talking about some hocus pocus bullshit from the nether regions of the internet. He needs solid facts that can be reported and verified by multiple sources, and that's exactly what we're going to deliver you right now. Stay to the end of this conversation because it's fantastic. You're going to feel even smarter by the end of it, and let me know what you think in the comments.
Does this suggest that when people have ideas and a sense that there is a sort of there are a set of globalist entities that have a kind of loose project to disempower and disenfranchise ordinary people in very real and sometimes explicit ways, i.e. the WEF's now famous mantra, you will own nothing and you will be happy. When people see that play out, when they see that, you know, centralized hedge funded property development firms are acquiring property, when they see that the agriculture from Sri Lanka to the Netherlands is being bankrupted by top-down edicts to change their farming practices in ways that are presented as being ecologically friendly, but close examination reveals that, you know, by his fruits shall thee know him. If the result of an edict is it bankrupts farmers, allowing centralized agricultural interests to acquire land cheaply, then isn't it possible, likely even, that that was always the intention? And as more and more people, I've noticed this from our audience, who, you know, I grow increasingly enamored with, that they are willing to see the connections between what's happening in Sri Lanka, what's happening in the Netherlands, what happened in Canada with the trucker movement. The ordinary people are being pushed to the degree where they are, you know, whether it's willing to vote for Brexit, willing to vote for Trump, willing to believe in ideas that at this point don't seem so conspiratorial. When you see situations gaming out the same way countries as distant and diverse as Sri Lanka and Canada, the UK, America, that it starts to seem that if there isn't a plot or a conspiracy, there is an identifiable tendency. What in your work, Matt, can you point to that suggests that that's anything other than a conspiracy that you know makes it seem realistic, feasible?
Well, first of all, just from interviewing people on the campaign trail, I started to hear that more and more in 2012. So the first presidential election after the crash, there was suddenly a huge amount of discontent from people who would normally never think negatively about Wall Street, who were suddenly saying things like, how come they bailed out X company and I had to go into foreclosure, right? Why did that happen? Why was there this massive global central bank expenditure to save the financial system, which was guilty, by the way, of causing the crash? And why did I have to foot the bill, right? Like, why am I paying for the bailout and I'm not getting anything out of it? And you started to see this like harder edge to people when they talked about politicians. And I think the appeal of somebody like Trump wasn't so much that he was a real oppositional figure or that he had actual solutions, but that he identified what people were upset about. He was at least smart enough to feel in the audience where their frustrations were. You know, when he saw vets in the crowd, he would say, "We have to do something about these endless wars because they're not getting us anywhere. They help, you know, the Carlyle Group and Lockheed Martin, but they don't help you." He went after NATO, right? They'd say they don't pay their dues. Your taxes are going to pay for this stuff, but the other countries that we're protecting, they're not paying. And that stuff resonated, right? So he just went down the list of institutions, and again, we talked about this before. He was very much like a stand-up comic. He would go into the crowd and feel out what people were pissed about, and he would give them something. And that's why figures like Trump and even the hated Alex Jones, they had some traction with people, because what they were saying was there's this globalist effort to take away the things that you once had. They prioritize their own wealth. They have given up on the country, and all those messages have at least a little bit of truth to them, and therefore they resonate. I mean, how can you be an American worker who watched the factory that used to be in your town move to a place like China, while the United States gives most favored nation trading status to the Chinese, and then listen to a politician say, well, you should learn to code or whatever, whatever it is. Like, it just doesn't fly. You start to feel like they're not really working for you, that they're working for the people in Davos or something like that.
Well, it feels like that sometimes. It feels like that the kind of things that are discussed in, at a global level, that involves states, people, that involve big media, big tech representatives, that involve some of the most powerful interests in the world, powerful and public. And that one thing that I found interesting about the pandemic is that it obviously a uniformity of response to a degree sort of makes sense if you're trying to deal with a medical emergency that requires a universal response. But it was the kind of the economic convenience and expedience of that event, the wealth transfer that took place during that time, the introduction of the control of data, the ability to lock down a population. Our producer here, Gareth, who makes the content with us, said that prior to the pandemic, who, by the way, is not a person that's hysterical or prone to sort of conspiratorial thinking. I'm much more sympathetic to that. I'm much more of a kind of what I want to say. I like mythology. I like stories that galvanize people. I'm interested in truth, and I wouldn't convey anything that I didn't believe to be true. And frankly, I work with people that wouldn't allow it to happen anyway, thankfully. But he said, before the pandemic, if you wanted to control a social uprising, let alone a revolution, it would have required military and tanks on the street. Now you can control that from a laptop. You can shut down people's bank accounts. You can control people's information. You can see how this is being used to augment a social credit type society, and how we're already being sort of eased towards that. Even if it's not a malign intent, the state wants power. The corporate world wants profit. The media is aligned with both of those interests in ways that without a very deliberate, conscious effort, is going to be inertly carried towards the same outcomes and agenda. The same agenda, therefore, is pursued. And it seems to me that at this point, that saying those things are a conspiracy theory is unfair.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond the point where you can say it's fantastical. It's certainly true that we now have issues that people look like, okay, let's just take the introduction of the idea of not serving somebody at a restaurant if they're not vaccinated, and that being a computerized notion, right? Like you have to be registered, you have to have a vaccine passport. That notion terrifies a lot of people because the applications of that are infinite. If you belong to the wrong kind of political movement, I mean, this is again what was so scary about the Canadian trucker situation, was this idea that, oh, well, there is a mechanism by which we can turn off your ability to raise money for political action if we decide that it qualifies as threatening during this pandemic emergency. So that's what I think. A lot of people got very nervous about that with a lot of justice. You add to that the incredible amounts of obedience that they were able to whip up among the population about things like masking, right? So you had you had these scenes of people, wearing masks outside long after it had been demonstrated that wasn't necessarily a thing that was going to help in any way. But it became a cultural marker, right? And people became, afraid to be seen as somebody who thinks differently. The pandemic, whether just fortuitous for people in power, or it was something that they had in the works. It certainly added to that feeling of paranoia. And then on top of that, there was the financial aspect where, just in the United States, we spent $4.6 trillion of Federal Reserve money, dumped that into the stock market, made lots and lots of people very, very wealthy. And now you see what's happening. We're pulling back.
My God. I've been talking to nothing this whole time. Fuck. Anyways, let me read the captions. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm reading the captions underneath this video. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was muted. Damn it. All the stuff I said. Bruh. Let me read the comments. It says, every time someone says I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's a testament of how effective the powers that shouldn't be have been at making the term conspiracy theorist a pejorative. Signed, a proud conspiracy theorist, aka a person who trusts his or her instinct that something doesn't pass the smell test. It says, if it wasn't for the internet, most people wouldn't know what's happening around the world, even in their own country. Thank you, Russell, for the contribution to our education and knowledge. Let me read this one. This is the interesting comment right here. It says, I'm ecstatic that Russell and many of those watching the videos are catching on to the notion that there is a concerted effort to remove independence, decision-making, and self-sovereignty from the people of the world. Could I add that it's about time? This threat of overreaching control is not new. It has been around for decades. In fact, it has been around for millennia. Each new generation thinks that history began on the day they were born. They dismiss that maybe we have been here before, that those who came before us faced the same ideals and threats to the individual. The unfortunate fact is these ideas are human nature. They live inside us and therefore are ever present. There has always been and will always be the class that feels they are superior to the plebes, that they and only they know what is best for the masses, or at a minimum, they want the population to conform to their standards of how the world should be. It is not new, my friend, and it won't go away. These are the threats that we warn of when we say that we must fight for our freedom as individuals. In the USA's, our founding fathers warned us about the threat of government becoming too powerful over the people. It was nearly 240 years ago. Those same thoughts have been repeatedly espoused throughout history, but yet here we are. Let me read one more. It says, it's an excellent and incisive supposition. I've also felt great certainty that the frighteningly immense number of people who suffer from WFC of 2008 would have revolted against the event and forced the government to punish those responsible. The utter failure to do so, except Iceland, meant that GR could progress onwards towards what's just happened with Fias COVID. Even now, people have failed to force their government to deal with those responsible, and those who immorally profited from the sham. Therefore, the GR is now progressing onwards towards the next step test, controlling the planet's food supply. I guess GR means government. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. He says, what are you talking about, mask work? Yeah. Sure they do, buddy. They work to constrict your oxygen levels. Call me crazy. Call me the crazy conspiracy theorist. I'll take that. It's called science.
Caribbean. It lost 200,000 people. The tragic images moved world leaders. They sent aid to rebuild the country. The US alone donated $1.3 billion, but only a fraction of this money reached Haiti. Surveys show that NGOs in this country received just 0.9% of the aid disbursed. Where did the rest of the money go? It stayed within the United States. Most of it went to private firms. It's not clear how they spent the money or if it left the US at all. The result is this. Haiti continues to struggle. 100,000 people remain internally displaced. Most of them are still in refugee camps. The infrastructure is in a shambles. Public services have hardly improved. And stories like these make you wonder, where does aid money really go? The billions of dollars that NGOs receive, the funds that governments set aside for the poor, the relief packages that world bodies promise, how exactly is all of this spent? Does the money even reach the intended recipients? Or is it lost in distribution? Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and this may sound offensive, but humanitarian aid has become a bit of a farce. Besides generating publicity for the donors, besides helping countries enhance their soft power and perhaps helping world bodies sell some merchandise, what impact does it have? Most of the aid does not even reach the people it's meant for. And there's data to support this. Audits have shown that 1/5 of foreign aid never leaves donor countries. It either remains in their banks or is given to their NGOs and not to those who need it. And before I give you examples, let me say this here. We're in no way trying to undermine the work done by NGOs or humanitarian bodies. Some of them have contributed significantly. They do provide life-saving assistance. They do help reduce the impact of crises on communities. The aim of this report is to question governments and global bodies that have turned aid into a business model, a model that benefits their own interests more than the recipients. In 2011, developed countries raised $100 billion in funds. This was foreign aid to be given to the developing world, $100 billion. Out of this, $22 billion were never transferred. The same year, Italy raised $2 billion, but only $300 million of this left the country. The rest remained in Italy. In 2019, another report was released. It said 25% of aid never leaves donor countries. And the remaining 75% does not reach the recipients directly. It passes through several agencies. Each agency takes a cut, and with each cut, there's lesser accountability. Why does all of this happen? To understand that, we'll have to understand the very concept of aid. You see, international aid is not a lump sum amount. It's a bundle of a wide range of things. Some of it is money, some of it is food, some of it is debt relief, and some of it is people. That's the cost of consultants and staff who provide technical assistance. And as important as these expenditures may be, they don't result in the transfer of resources. Take the case of Timor-Leste. It's a country in Southeast Asia. It became independent in the year 1999. Since then, it has received over $5 billion in aid. Out of this, $2 billion has been spent on the UN mission alone. Bilateral donor projects have cost around $1.7 billion. UN staff get salaries 10 times more than locals here. For instance, a UN employee from Australia is paid $200,000, and this is in a country where 50% of the population makes less than $2 a day. Do you get the point? International aid is not entirely what it seems. Only a trickle of what's promised gets transferred as aid. Some of it is exhausted by the agencies providing aid. Some of it reaches the recipient countries, but immediately bounces back to the donors, to the pockets of the very people who promised aid. How does that happen? Thanks to a concept called tied aid. Let me explain. What they do is tie the loans to companies within donor countries. So if America is the donor, for instance, the loans are tied to American companies. And the result is this. These companies then decide how the money is spent. I'll show you more numbers. In 2012, more than 14% of bilateral aid was tied. In 2017, it was more than 15%. In 2018, it grew to over 19%. Which are the donors that tie aid? Almost all of them. The US tops the list. In 2018, almost 40% of bilateral aid was tied. That's approximately $11 billion. Japan tied over 22% or $4.2 billion. Germany tied almost 15% or $3.1 billion. And South Korea tied more than 48% of its aid. Basically, all these countries promised aid, but instead of giving it to recipient countries, they gave the money to their own companies. So the aid money is, first of all, furthering their own economic interests. A few years back, this report was released. It said Britain's foreign aid budget had created a group of poverty barons, private players who were filling their pockets in the name of helping disadvantaged people. In fact, the department which was given the task was itself found to be splurging aid money, the Department of International Development, DFID. This was a British government agency for foreign aid. In 2012, an investigation revealed that this agency had spent 20 million euros on five-star hotels, 6 million euros on a university studying mental health, 3.9 million euros on a think tank studying elections in Africa, and 400,000 euros on furniture at its new branch in India. What about aid for development? Only a fragment of that money went to African nations. And why just Britain? Almost every developed nation has such stories. Only a small part of the aid they promise is spent on welfare or development. Most of it is spent on setting up offices and brainstorming on how to offer help. The rest goes to developing nations as grants or concessional loans. Sometimes it is provided in the form of debt relief, which basically leaves the money in the hands of leaders and not people. In 2011, Congo was promised $7.5 billion in financial aid. More than $5 billion from this was never given. This was kept aside as debt relief to be given when needed.
When
we have
needed.
global bodies like the UNICEF, a UN-sponsored charity
They
with a
need it
great
now.
reputation. Look at their record. Case in point is Zambia. In 2014, UNICEF decided to help Zambia solve a challenge, fixing the country's school curriculum, helping it revise textbooks. How did UNICEF make a difference? It gave 78 motorbikes to Zambia's Ministry of Education. What for? To improve monitoring of educational standards in rural areas. Now, were all these 78 bikes used for the same purpose? Or did they go to friends of ministers for personal use? UNICEF did not appoint someone to check. And this is not a case against UNICEF again. They're doing some good work. We're talking about distribution loss of aid and how international agencies have misplaced priorities. In 2015, aid organization World Vision released this ad. 100,000 reasons to love the Super Bowl, America's biggest sporting event. What were the 100,000 reasons? 100,000 T-shirts of the losing team in Super Bowl. They were manufactured for distribution in case the team won, but it lost. So the unsold merchandise made its way to Zambia, Armenia, and Nicaragua. The organization sold it as a generous gesture, as life-changing aid to children in need.
Oh, they're so nice.
Children, which it said, had never seen something brand new. Each T-shirt cost $20. That's $2 million in all. Wouldn't this money in some other form have helped more? Super Bowl T-shirts worth $2 million were not Zambia's top requirement, but they got them anyway. My point is quite simple. Aid seems to have become a continuation of colonialism. Instead of fighting inequality and eradicating poverty, it has become a lucrative medium for some in the West to expand their business. More than helping the poor, it is driven by political considerations and vested interests. Some countries don't even hesitate in hiding this fact. Like the United States of America, time and again, several US State Department officials have admitted that they consider aid a tool of US foreign policy, a means to advance American economic interests, a means to secure new markets for America, and establish governments that suit Washington's interests. And this undermines the very concept of aid. It's not a noble deed to help those in need. It's a business model where any benefits to the poor are incidental.
She's so cute. I love her outfit today too. Freaking this shit should make you mad. I mean, I don't know. People don't care. It's like, oh, it's not me. I'm not the one looking for the. But hey, guess where the money be coming from? Like, it be coming from your ass half the time. You donate it to whatever organization, and then they put the money in their freaking pocket. Didn't help nobody. That doesn't make you mad? Okay, whatever. Let me read the caption underneath the video. It says, where does aid money really go? Does it even reach the intended recipients, or does it get lost in distribution? Palki Sharma deconstructs some figures to explain how humanitarian aid has become a bit of a farce. And I wonder, how long has it been a farce? Shit. At least as far back as the Clinton administration and helping Haiti way back then. Sure, it goes back further. Let me read some more comments. I became aware of this situation years ago, so unfortunately I stopped donating. I would rather give to a homeless person on the street. They may waste it, but they got 100%. Let me read another comment. It says, I worked for AUS Aid. I guess that's Australia. AusAid funded program for some time. I think Palki has understated this. It is much worse than what she stated. Aid money is used to much worse effect sometimes. E.g., support political purposes, influence policies that support donors' needs, bribing public servants, increasing corruption, etc. I do wonder why recipient countries still allow this, fully knowing what these aid packages actually mean. There was something I had to cover in one of my classes one time, and it was about aid, and I think it was in Haiti. And it was a way where, okay, like, it was these food, basically like food stamp cards, kind of like. It was these cards that they used, or vouchers that they used to get food. And they only gave them out to men, and the women was like begging for them from the men, like, and the men would abuse them and rape them and all of this, and for them to stand in long lines to try to get this aid. So it's like, you would think that it would just be like, okay, yeah, it's aid, so the people just come and get the bags of rice or potatoes or whatever it is. But no, they end up making it a whole ass process where the people get exploited even more trying to get the aid. Yeah, I want to say I wrote a paper about that, but my brain is fuzzy on that right now. Let me read some more. It says, my family believed that helping others was done best through volunteering your time and labor, not by donating cash. I've had many incredible, empowering life experiences because of their advice. And while I'm dirt poor, I still feel richer than a Rockefeller. Okay, go ahead then. Another comment. During the COVID lockdowns, my barber's income went down to practically zero. He had purchased his shop on loan and was working hard to reach middle class. Due to the lockdown and no income, he was started to fall behind on EMI payments for his shop. I helped him for 2 years. Others did too. Incidentally, none of us ever give a single paisa to the big NGOs. Paisa? I don't know what that is. Palki's reporting remaining truthful, mind-stimulating, and thought-provoking. She is a credit to her profession. Superb. I think the journalism that come off of this channel is pretty good, and that's the reason why I'll be watching it all the time. It's pretty good, and it's really good to hear news about United States from outside of the United States, because from all the media that we have inside of the United States is going to be severely slanted, and we get to hear a little better, perspective when it's from another country. Even we're not calling India like the best country in the world, or like somebody who's morally in a position to, but that's beside the point. The point is more objective, because coming from, it's just like looking at yourself. When you try to analyze yourself, you're gonna have some biases, and somebody else looks at you and they be like, okay, well, it's like this, you might feel some kind of way about what they're saying, but it's probably going to be more accurate. Let me read some more. I've always been extremely skeptical of foreign aid, as I worked in several countries around Australia. Even more, a few times during business class travel, I worked for a private company. I overheard old and decrepit white ladies around me loudly talking to the flight attendants and very proudly boasting how they work for foreign aid organizations and going to poor countries to check on how aid is distributed. The incredible hypocrisy is breathtaking. When those business class tickets are most likely more expensive than the direct aid being distributed to the entire village in poorer countries in 1 year. So that's what she was saying in the video too. Like, a lot of the money goes to people, like they're monitoring this or they're monitoring that, but it's all bullshit. It's just giveaway to my buddies. They're not really working. And if they are working, they definitely don't deserve the salaries that they're getting. It's really just like one of those cush jobs, because you can't get those jobs. Those jobs are given away a lot of times. Palki is eye-opening in many aspects. She always addresses the harsh reality of human society. Well done, Palki Sharma. We have been fighting this point for 6 years now, and it's not just about foreign aid, but about the entire charity model. Intentions are good, but the model is broken, which makes the execution impossible. We must change the way we do things, or none of the serious challenges we're facing will get solved. That's why people don't like to vote for those giveaways, because they feel like the money is just going to be wasted, and that's a fair argument. Let me see. As an African person who worked in the humanitarian aid field, I truly relate to what you are saying, Palki. It is a harsh reality that needs to be addressed. Thank you for the report. It says the same is true for internal aid projects. Donations for homeless services in the U.S. go largely to salaries, office expenses, travel expenses, and publicity. See? So that's why y'all should pay attention, because it's not just internationally. This is the system. This is what they do everywhere. They don't want to help anyone. They want more money in their pockets, in their friends' pockets. They don't give a damn. And then the homeless or whatever it is an excuse to put more money in their pocket. It's an opportunity. Like I say, man, government projects. What's the best government? Like I say, everybody wants to land government projects. What's the best government project you can probably land? Some humanitarian aid type shit, because it's going to be less oversight. It's going to be less serious. It's going to be more leakage. Oh, man, I'm tired too, man. The sun drained me earlier. I did some walking around, and it was so hot. And it made me tired. I should have took a nap before the show, but didn't. I tried to do that, but I was trying to come on earlier, and it's just the way things happen. It took me longer to do what I wanted to do, and then I got caught in traffic coming back, and shit, that's the story. Came back here and ate, chilled for a little while, and started the show. I wanted to come on much earlier, but it didn't work out. And I'm tired now, because when Whenever I come on late, I try to, if I can, take a little nap so I can stay on here for y'all. Let me see. The real news. I don't think I can make it through that interview. It was annoying as hell. Humanitarian aid. We talked about free will. 110 years and 10 degrees in Texas prisons. Let's play a little bit of this. This interview is annoying too. You know,
welcome to this edition of.
It's like it's hard to listen to some people. It's like when you please use your language. Exhibit your mastery of language when you're trying to do interviews, because you have many different people who are listening to you, and they're not going to understand you when you are speaking in a way that makes it more difficult for them. So you're losing a good amount of your audience, and then you annoy the rest of us.
Bradley Bars. I'm Manson Musa, co-hosting with Eddie Conway. Next month will be August. And before we get started in our interview, we just want to acknowledge that next month we'll be highlighting a lot of the situations and conditions and the developments in political prisoners and prisoner of war case throughout the United States of America. Today we'll be talking about one of the most inhumane things that exists within the prison industrial complex, heat, and how institutions deal with heat and heat type environments, specifically when it's 110 degrees outside or when it's 90 degrees outside. It's in most cases in prison, it's 110 or 115, and in most reported cases, 140. So today we have a situation where in Texas prison system, the temperature reached 110 degrees. Now, this is not a new phenomenon for Texas, heat and the fact that it exists. What also isn't new is the response. But this time, with the outlandish heat and with the heat wave, Texas prisoners have been subjected to the most cruel and unusual punishment. Here to talk about this is Monique Welch, who wrote an article on this very thing for the Houston Chronicle. Welcome, Monique.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
I started with the Houston Chronicle not too long ago, just marked a year. Again, I moved to Houston in September of last year, right around Labor Day. So I'm really still getting my feet wet with Texas and Houston and this very topic, the heat that we're here to discuss today. So a lot of it is really fresh on my mind just as a new Houstonian. But I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, went to Goucher College there, studied communications and journalism, and just kind of worked my way up with a number of different internships. Then I moved to Tampa, Florida, where I really got started in journalism. I worked at the Tampa Bay Times in a number of different positions, and recently now I'm here at the Houston Chronicle.
Okay,
so a little bit about me.
And you wrote an article entitled that temperatures inside Texas prison reaches 110 degrees. And just going back on what you just said, you just came down in this environment and you just started getting into reporting. Why would you take up this particular news report? Why would you focus your attention on this and go in this area in particular, when it's not really, when we talk about prison and we talk about conditions in prison, people have a tendency to do a comparative analysis, like, well, we don't have this in society, so why would we give them that? Why did you choose this particular area to focus your attention on?
Absolutely. One, just being a new Houstonian, heat is a constant conversation starter. It's what everyone's talking about. It's summertime. Houston is beautiful, but a lot of times you don't want to be outside just because it's so hot. But so someone like me, I have the luxury of deciding whether I want to be in the heat or not. I can stay in my house all day long and enjoy my 75-degree thermostat, but not all inmates, as we see in this report, have that same luxury. So it really just, when I got word of this study, it was just alarming. It was a new thing for me, just not having that much knowledge and understanding that this was going on. So I was really intrigued and wanting to learn more about this issue and some of the failures that were being alleged in this report. So it just really was intriguing. I don't think, I'm a true believer that, no matter what you do in this life, we're all human. So, that you're deserving of certain conditions. So it was just, I was really shocked. I think it was the overall shock factor for me
Right,
that was
right,
just
right,
like, wait a minute, like this is seriously going on. So
right.
it made me want to dig into it a little more.
And the report you're speaking of, the was it University of Texas?
It's
The-
the Texas A&M University.
right. So, all right, the Texas A&M University went and did a study or did a report for legislation on the conditions of prisons and the heat, the effect the heat has on the living conditions in prison. Is that the study you're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
And what was that
It
finding?
recently,
Go
so
ahead.
just to break down the study, it recently released this study. They've been researching this for 2 years, started in 2018, and then in 2020, they concluded their research. And by they, I mean, I'm talking about scholars within their hazard
Right,
reduction
right,
and recovery center. So a specific, department dedicated to studying these issues and just how certain things impact vulnerable communities.
right.
So that's what their mission and focus is. So they spent 2 years analyzing this issue,
Mm.
surveying well over 300 inmates.
Right.
And in the actual report, it's a lengthy report. It details a number of quotes and direct quotes from prisoners that ultimately are really in fear of dying from
Right,
heat.
right.
That was the theme. And when we're talking about dying from heat, we're talking about specifically heat stroke, heat exhaustions,
Mhm.
like heat related illnesses that could lead to death.
Right.
That is the overall fear that they reported.
And this report was given to the state legislators. Am I correct?
Yes, a couple weeks ago they did actually report their findings to the House. I didn't get clarification. I did go back and ask to see, okay, what came of that? What was the
Right,
reaction?
right.
That part is still unclear.
Mhm.
So I'm probably going to follow up again just to keep tabs on this issue and see, okay, what did it ruffle any feathers?
Right, right.
To gauge that overall reaction. So that part I'm not sure of, but I do know that that was their intent with this research, was to bring light and really speak for a vulnerable community that can't speak for themselves,
Right.
and take this to lawmakers, the people who have the power to do something about it.
And as I was researching this and looking at it, and I was this past couple of days ago, I was reminiscing on I'm being released from prison. I had served 48 years in prison prior to being released, and when I was coming out, it's so hot, and I reflected on how hot it was in the environments that I was in. It'd be so hot that walls be sweating, but at no time did the entire time I've been incarcerated did the temperatures in the units reach 110 degrees. It was the prisons that where the most inhumane suffering took place is in the more modernized or less modernized prison, if you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. So just getting to the 23, I just want to clarify the 23 heat-related deaths. That was since 1998. So I
Mhm.
don't want to get it confused that was just in 1 year or over, like that was,
Right,
decades.
right, right.
And while some might say, oh, that doesn't sound like an overwhelming number, many will argue that one is too many.
That's right.
And so you're absolutely correct. There were a lot of heat mitigating policies put in place, mainly because of just advocacy and court
Right.
orders that really brought it to light. But that So with that being said, the department, so that in Texas, also, let me just run down. So Texas operates the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. They operate 100 prisons. And so of those 100 facilities, 31 are completely air conditioned. So they're just 31%. 55 they reported are partly air conditioned, and 14 have no AC. So those are just want to run those facts out there. And so when a lot of these things were taking place, a lot of the advocacy and the court orders and just, calling out the agency for some of their policies, they did work to improve a lot of those things. They didn't rush to bring in air conditioning. However, a lot of their mitigating policies were bringing in more fans and circulating them, throughout the prisons, introducing cooled beds, and just allowing for access to water, ice, etc., and a number of different things that a spokesperson outlined to me, and something that researchers criticize in the report as basically not enough, and just saying that by doing so, they are simply mitigating the impacts of heat, but not actually mitigating the heat. So that was one thing that stood out to me, and I thought it was really, really interesting. It's like, yes, they have made significant improvements over the years. You cannot deny that. But how effective long term, not just short term, but how effective long term are those policies and procedures to inmates' overall health? Their study showed that, and another thing with relating to the deaths, the 23 deaths, a lot of those deaths they pointed out that were hard to tie directly to heat. So they gave an example. Like one example was someone died from a heart attack, and while they died from a heart attack, they couldn't pinpoint that. Well, they basically said that like heat exhaustion or heat stroke could have. Yeah, it could have
The oven had nothing
exacerbated.
to do with his heart.
Well, the report argues that the heat exasperates a lot of these sometimes pre-existing, sometimes they didn't have these medical conditions at all, but it exasperates them, and conditions that they perhaps would not have had they been in less hazardous conditions.
Let's dial down on, like you said earlier, that the amount of people that die in over a period of time. But you, by your own recognition and the states, this has been going on forever. Texas is hot. Texas have seasons that's hot. My question, and in your research, have they ever considered, because you just spoke on how they say that the study said, well, like they're not trying to eradicate the problem, they're just trying to mitigate it into an extent where it's more acceptable.
Lessen the impact, yes.
Lessen the impact. But in terms of long term, in your study, has the state even considered any type of long term solution to this problem? Because the heat gonna come the heat gonna come next year, and the heat gonna come if the prison is not providing the necessary equipment.
Oh, it's painful. Let me read the comments. The caption, it says, this is the caption. It says, prisoners are on the front lines of climate crisis of every type. Heat waves can be especially dangerous for incarcerated people, particularly in prisons that lack proper air conditioning. In Texas, this summer's heat wave has sent temperatures inside some prisons reach as high as 110 degrees. A recent survey by Texas A&M University's Hazard Reduction and Recovery Center, as well as the Texas Prisons Community Advocates Group, paints a picture of immense human suffering caused by environmental catastrophe and inaction by authorities. More than 6,000 heat-related grievances were filed in Texas prisons between September 2019 and August 2020. With just 2/3 of the state's prisoners in possession of their own cup to drink water with, thousands of incarcerated people are being left to languish in deadly temperatures without air conditioning or easy access to water. On this episode of Rallying the Bars, Monique Welch of the Houston Chronicle appears to discuss A&M's research on the condition of Texas sweltering prisons. Man, scary as hell to go to jail in Texas in the summertime, and they don't have no damn air conditioning there. You can literally die. I'm an asthmatic. They're gonna kill my ass. Let me read this. It says, this is her comment underneath the video. I've read that in New Jersey prison the heating system broke in the winter and went unprepared for many months. Cruel treatment of prisoners throws the justice system into disrepute. And it's like, no matter, people are like, well, you shouldn't have went to jail. Well, you shouldn't have did whatever you did to go to jail. Like, and then, but y'all don't see how people go to jail for no reason. They make mistakes. Some of these people are innocent. So even if you're like, okay, well, you shouldn't have went to jail. Well, what about the innocent people that are in there getting baked and frozen? Y'all don't care, huh? Don't care. It's like, it's not me. I don't care. Let me read some more. It says, this is torture, not figuratively speaking, not just technically, it's literal torture. That's what it is. They're torturing these inmates, bro, because that's what I was talking about. Even the ones that didn't die from the heat stroke or having a heart attack or whatever, what about all the rest of them that lived? What about them? Like, you don't think that it had an impact on them? How stressful was it? Some of them was probably right on the edge of death. So these people are getting tortured. Let me read some more. It says, locking people in cages against their will for mostly nonviolent offenses is the behavior of a sociopath. And our society is sociopathic. And that's true. A lot of the people in prison are committed nonviolent offenses. What? They stole some potato chips out of the store or something. You know what I'm saying? They tried to get some groceries, They came out of Home Depot with some shit. Like, I'm not saying this is everybody, but a lot of people are in prison for stuff like that. Do you really feel like these people are criminals and they deserve to be baked and frozen to death? Let me read some more comments. It says, I had heat stroke at Massachusetts State Prison. It was over 110 and only one fan for 300 guys. Very sad. Another comment. Very good and important episode, and Monique speaks very well. Her words are clear, and I definitely appreciate this. Another one. Thank you both so much. Wonder what the humidity readings were. Wet bulb temps. It says, as the human race, we should do better. It says, even the most violent prisoners deserve basic comforts and not to be tortured with heat or cold. That should be common fucking sense, but y'all not worried about none of that, huh? Fuck around and go to jail, and then you be in that hell baking to death for you because you had an out sticker and an outbreak light, and you didn't pay your insurance, and they got you 2 or 3 times. No license tickets to get your ass in prison here in the States. I mean, in Texas. They will get your ass for that. So you got people in jail because they let their damn driver's license expire and they couldn't pay the fines. Do you think that person deserves to be baked or frozen to death? Let me read some more. It says, 8th Amendment protection from cruel and unusual punishment. Prisons should be aware sometimes innocent people do get convicted. They should not be treated inhumanely just because they are in prison. Oh, I just said. Another one. This is a reminder that whatever we're going through, American prisons are going through it 100 times worse. We can be so much better, and we should. Personal experience with this subject, it's terribly hot in there. The drinking water provided is awful. Also, we were punished in the winter with freezing temps also. Social communities prevent crime and cure addictions. Pity the U.S. isn't one. The journalist's brains are hot enough to cause global warming on her own. I'm grateful she's the human side. What a beautiful person. Well done, bro. Inspiring love, faith, and hope. Another one. I will show this to my son why he don't want to do something to be in this situation. I'm telling you, bro. Straight and narrow. Keep your head down. Don't look up. Do whatever your boss says. Pay your insurance. Make sure your license don't expire. Don't speed. None of that. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. Let me read some more. I'm going to say that 31 unites the claim. Wait. I'm going to say that the 31 units they claim have AC are the small short time stay units. The state jails and farm units don't have AC. And I'm going out on a limb here and saying the info they gave you is not quite accurate. I could be wrong, but I've been out for nearly 10 years, but I would like to see the list if I could. Sounds even better than the truth saying 30 units have AC, but I'm skeptical of that. Yeah, man, them 30 units are probably the units for the wardens and staff members or something. It says, I'll bet the guards are in air-conditioned offices. Their union insists. That's not true in all these prisons, bro. The guards is baking too in some of these prisons. Everybody freaking suffering in there. Another comment, it says, yes, it is definitely a human rights violation, as is the entire system, which incarcerated these individuals while disguising the effort as some sort of reform program. How are you going to reform somebody by baking them and freezing to death? They're going to get out of jail and be a better person after that? We don't care. We're not thinking of that. They just say reform, just like they say democracy. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just something you say. It's nice words. Don't really mean it. Another comment, it says, the perverse nature of American philosophy continues to amaze the rest of the civilized Western world. Another comment, I don't want unnecessary suffering, but criminals can be quite resourceful. They make weapons or plan escapes using things we never imagined. If there's a fan, it might be taken apart and used to make a sheath. HVAC grills could also be used. So I'd be curious if that's a consideration, just trying to fully understand. And you sound like a douchebag, Chuck Frazier. You sound like a douchebag, okay? Chuck Frazier, you sound like a douche. They're gonna make weapons. Okay, that's possible, bro. But you want them to, so then that justifies them baking or freezing to death, because they might use weapons out of it. So that justifies them baking to death, bro, having heart attacks and shit. Literally dying. That justifies it, right? Well, they shouldn't have did what they did. You're one of those kind of guys, right? Good see your ass in there. I bet you ain't never been to jail, Chuck. Let me read some more. So, and it'd be funny if everything just flips, because a lot of y'all are criminals. The ones that's out here looking at those people like, oh, they're such horrible people. Y'all are out here doing fucking real crimes and getting the fuck away with it all the time. You're so hypocritical. Y'all fucking suck. Let me read another one. The prison industrial complex must go green as quickly as possible from this point forward. All new prisons under construction must be built with sustainable materials. Also, the same will apply to retrofitting existing facilities. All indoor plumbing, heating, cooling, and electricity must be provided by renewable sources only. I don't know how your comment fits, bro. Let's read some more. Absolutely no exceptions whatsoever. In order to further reduce wastage and carbon emissions, all books, music, and allowable media will be distributed digitally via specifically tablets operating only on solar power. Commissary items will be totally banned. What? Who the fuck are you? Prison diets will focus exclusively on healthy, sustainable vegan meals such as Nutriloaf. You gotta be joking at this point, bro. Furthermore, all prisons would undergo daily mandatory education on environmental protection and reducing the carbon footprints. Lastly, any material that can be recycled will be done so and vigorously enforced, including food items. There will be no unnecessary waste. With such measure, the prisons system could easily reach full sustainability, reaching zero carbon emissions. Remember, folks, there's no plan B. Okay, so this guy looked at this as an opportunity. So the topic of this video is talking about the heat in the prisons and how it's like cruel and unusual punishment. That's the point of the video. And this guy found it an opportunity to try to sell us on green energy. Like, you're going to push somebody over to your side underneath the video about people who are, so then you tie the prison. So that's your connection. So because it's prison, so, oh, they're talking about prison. I bet you this person didn't even watch the video. You're a bot, bro. That's why we call y'all bots. You're a bot. Another comment says 8th Amendment violation. Another one, it says, it's 110 in my house too, and I have no money for air conditioning or the stupid electric bill that comes with it, and I am not a criminal. Deal with it. Okay, so now this argument right here is the fairest one. Even though it's cruel, that's a fair argument. It's like, okay, I'm out here in the real world, and I can't afford to pay for my light bill, so I'm baking too. So, like, I'm not even a prisoner, and I'm out here fucking about to have a heat stroke and heart attack in my house, and I'm free. That's a fair argument, but it also points to what's fucked up about our society, what's really foul, right? So you got old people who use oxygen tanks and stuff like that. You got older folks who have blood pressure and heart conditions, just like those people in prison, and they are out here in the free world. Is it okay that they bake to death in their house? Should we care about that as a society? All the money that we spend on taxes, this, that, and the other. What about all the money we sent to Ukraine this past year, just this year alone? You think that could possibly have had an impact on some people that here in the States that are hot? Could we have spent that money on that? That's crazy talk, right? Crazy talk. Okay, I sympathize with you guys in Ukraine, but hey, we got old people over here baking to death in their house. So, good, fair argument, but you're pointing to the whole problem, the problem with society. And like, I think that you're probably not seeing it. But this is pointing to a real problem. So you're like, it's 110 degrees in my house too, and I have no money for air conditioning and a stupid electric bill that comes with it, and I'm not a criminal. Deal with it. So, and then like those criminals, we can ask you, what decisions did you make so that you couldn't pay your light bill? Are you smoking crack? What kind of bill do you, what kind of, why is your bill so high? What money do you have coming in? Did you plan for that light bill? We can ask you that. We can say you deal with it. You made bad decisions, just like those people that ended up in prison, the ones that did commit crimes. They made bad decisions. Now they're getting baked to death. You made bad decisions. Now your ass is getting baked to death. How about that? How about that? So, but what I'm saying is nobody should be getting baked or frozen to death. Like, we live in this abundance. You know what I'm saying? We live in the modern world, the richest time ever. Like they talk about GDP and all of that shit every day. How does that affect the regular person living every day? The person that needs to pay their light bill. The GDP is great, but this person is baking to death in his house. We don't care. What about all the money that they're taking out of your damn check? What about all the taxes you pay when you go buy gas or groceries or go to the corner store or buy a house or whatever the hell? Where is all this money going? Does it build the streets? Why the streets shitty? What the fuck is up with the freeways and bridges fucking crumbling down? Where is the money going? Let me read some more. It says, really, Brown? And just how are they supposed to pay for electricity when they get paid 28 cents an hour? If indeed they have a job in prison, you're sick. And since when are any jails or prison in USA comparable to any kind of hotel, much less a 5-star one? I don't know what he's talking about there. It must have been a previous comment or something that was said on the, I don't know, I missed it. He probably coming back to something I read earlier. Another one, it says, couldn't some billionaire take 0.0000001% of his wealth and buy solar and air conditioning for them? Oh, I forget, all our billionaires are sociopaths. Well, see, look, I have a problem with this comment because the idea of Batman, and I talk about Batman, it's like Batman and Superman is going to come save us or whatever. Fucking Iron Man is going to come save us. Fucking Jeff Bezos, fucking Mark Zuckerberg, you know what I'm saying? Nikola Tesla, one of these guys, not Nikola Tesla, he's passed away. I'm thinking of the guy who does the Tesla, I can't think of his name. One of these guys are going to come and save and fix the world and all of this bullshit. Like, this is never going to happen. This is the way the system is set up because each one of us is like fighting to be Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, like if I get there, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to cure world hunger. Bull fucking shit. The only way we'll fix any of this shit is the system. It's not individuals that can fix this. I say this all the time, and I know people don't understand me. That's why I keep saying it over and over, but people don't manage people. Systems manage people, okay? People manage systems. Please understand this. The systems are what are driving the behaviors of the people because they are shoveled down this road of fucking capitalism and fighting against each other, individualism, and trying to fucking make it to the top of the hill. This is the system, okay? You as an individual have no control over that, and there's nothing you can do about it, okay? If you're living in the dynamic of the system, and you try to manage other people and tell them, stop doing that, do something better, do this thing, do that thing. Meanwhile, the system drives them right down the road of doing the very thing that's fucking everything up. Okay? So, but if you want to fix these things, then you have to focus on the system that's in place and change that. If you change the way the system, this is a basic systems that are in place and been there forever that has to be burnt the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? And redone. And then it'll guide people into healthier lifestyles and we'll have a better world. It's really simple. Call me crazy. Another comment, it says, it's not the Hilton. They should have thought of that before that they did the crime. Okay. What we have here is a failure to communicate. I love that line. You got your mind straight now, Luke? What we have here is a failure to communicate. That line is from a couple of movies. It's been recycled. I really liked it in what was that? That was Halloween. It was the version that was done by, what's that guy's name? He has a band. He's known by his band. Rob Zombie. That guy, he did a version of Halloween with Michael Myers. And there's a clip in the video where the tall black guy, badass, and he's got this big ass knife, and Michael Myers is standing outside of the toilet stall, and Michael don't talk or whatever. I guess he bumped the thing or he knocked on it or whatever, he hit it, and he's like, man, I'm gonna be here for a while. I just ate a big burrito, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then Michael Myers bangs on the thing again. He's like, man, get on, man. You want to wank off or some shit? I'm not interested or some shit. And bangs on the door again. Then he's like, what we have here is a failure to communicate. And he pulls out his big ass knife and fucking, I want to say, how does it happen? He ends up with his hand stabbed with the knife, and Michael Myers handled him short work. But that's a really cool, man. I'm a fan of Rob Zombie, the way he does. If you ever saw the movie House of a Thousand Corpses, he did that one. I think that's his best work. And then, you got the Devil Rejects. That was commercially popular. I think a lot of people saw that one. It wasn't that good, I would say, for him. It was really freaking soft compared to him, even though it was a lot of killing and blood in that movie. But he does this psychological shit in his stuff that's really good. And you can see that in the House of a Thousand Corpses because not a lot of people died in that movie. But it gets into your damn head. If you ever seen that movie, I don't think some of those images, you won't be able to get out. They'll be there forever. Anywho, I'm getting tired. What was that y'all sprayed? It's freaking getting in my lungs.
You okay? You done?
I can't breathe over here, but I'm okay. Gosh. Like some cheap body spray or something.
Cheap.
Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it, y'all. It says Nope is Jordan Peele's third consecutive $100 million box office hit. I kind of want to go see that because I'm a fan of what's her name? This chick right here. She's so funny. I'm a fan of this guy too. Like, this dude has an accent when he speaks normally. It's so crazy how these actors are so good that like their native accent that they have when they talk normally, you see them in movies and never even know they're like English or some shit. African or some shit. Like they have a real strong accent. How do they kill that accent when they're acting? That's amazing. And then how does it just come back when they're not acting? Oh, buddy just had a kid. Oh, what the fuck was that? This is a clip of a guy is supposedly pulling a gun to ask for change, but you could tell it's staged, not real. He does cocks it when he walks out. There was a lot of comments about it, like in Texas, like you couldn't even play like this. So hopefully it was a closed area. But they said this is in Mexico, so it's like it's illegal for you to carry. So then they're talking about the criminals are the ones that's gonna have it, so whatever. So, but I guess this is fake. So I guess he's safe because other people can't have guns legally, and he's not. Look, there's no clip in there. I just saw that. There's no clip in the gun, so it's absolutely not loaded. So, but still, if you play it around like that in Texas, even if it was other cars at the light and they just thought this was real from a distance, man, that would be dangerous. Everybody packing here, I'm telling you, old ladies and kids included. Don't think they're not packing, bro.
Are we still watching a scary movie?
Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it, y'all. Peace and love. I'm distracted as hell. Probably gonna do some chilling and try to relax. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back tomorrow for shizzle. I'm gonna try to do a day show. I said that today, but I'm gonna try to do it for real tomorrow because I'm off. Peace.